I leaving for? Right? I went a few years without working my jobs, but I went back.
You went back.
You know, because it's who I am. It's what I do.
So, but that's a lot though. You have 2 children. You're running a...
I have 3 children.
3 children.
Yeah.
At that time, it was 2.
Yes,
right?
when I walked that RN graduation, I had a 3rd belly.
Okay, so we haven't even got to the RN.
Right.
We ain't even got there.
Okay.
I did every step. I did CNA, LPN, RN. I got my bachelor's, then my master's in nurse practitioner.
Right.
What is going through your mind? Is there any struggle like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm pulling up on people with hair. I got to study these signs, and I got to change diapers.
Yes.
Like,
I got to do it.
There's
It's never. I don't know nothing about. I can't do it. I can't. That doesn't even go to me. I have to do it. You know, for some people it may be a choice to do these things. For me, you have to. You don't have what other people have. You don't got nobody backing you. You don't got great kids, father. Great. Let's be clear. But I'm talking about me.
you.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about me. You got to.
Yes.
It's not even an option for you. This is something you have to do. But more than anything, I had my daughter when I was 20 years old. That was my first child. And more than having to do it for me, I need this little girl to know, no matter where you from, no matter your walk of life, you got this. You can do this.
Yeah.
So it's always the naysayers. When I tell you, I heard I was selling drugs. I heard I was doing this. I heard so many people wanted me not to make it. They don't even know you put gas in my tank. You feel the heck out of me. So
I think it's because sometimes people just can't see good for others because they just can't see good for themselves.
They can't, and then they can't see this little girl from the Alpha Plazas doing
That one
this.
right
You
there.
was from the Alpha Plazas. What are you talking about? You're going to be a nurse practitioner. What are you talking about? You're going to have this business that has made over $1 million. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That doesn't go with you. Why you think you can do that?
And we from St. Louis, you ain't supposed to be making
You
no,
ain't supposed to
make
be-
$1 million. Are you crazy?
What?
Not legally.
That business has brought in over $1 million.
Wow. I believe it though. It's a multi-billion-dollar business.
And we're talking about this little small girl. I only just got a store location 2 years ago. So I was always meeting you at the gas station, pulling up. This wasn't that.
Gotcha. So we go to LPN school, you graduate, and you go back and try to give it to the lady.
Girl, she went there.
I know. But that's what
Guy was like, not today, Miss Petty.
No.
See, that's what I want to ask you too, because you have said a lot about the negative people, like the lady at the job, the naysayers saying that you selling drugs, you this, that. But so have you had anyone who was the positive person that was pushing you forward, that gave you some tools for your toolbox?
Well, I will say I had some people who was encouraging me. For sure. Because a lot of people even around me didn't even know enough, about it to give. But I do have like some aunts and cousins and stuff who was like, girl, gone.
Yeah.
Don't let nobody stop you.
Yeah.
They were positive. If you need a babysitter, we got you. So I did have that. My kids, like I said, their family is great. So I had babysitters and things, but...
And sometimes we have to remember to highlight them because the negative can sometimes sound louder
than it is.
Because they are louder.
Yes.
And we can turn our focus to like all the haters, which they're going to be there. They're
going to be there regardless.
Right?
And you use them.
But we also have these people, while they don't know nothing about the hair business.
They don't know what I'm doing,
baby,
but they don't know
you know what I'm saying?
And they hated it though, because I've always been a private person. So a lot of times, even when I was in school, nobody never knew I was in school until the ending was coming, and I was talking about graduation.
Why do you do that?
I have to protect it.
Protect it.
I have to protect
it. Are you protecting you?
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. God said you ain't gotta be just be my testimony when it happens. So I don't need you praying against what I got, even though it ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work. You know how many people say, "Oh, you got 2 kids. You shouldn't be. Why you going back to RN school? Just chill." I don't want to hear that. Don't even worry about it.
So you go out and now you're LPN. How does that look? How long are you?
It looked good. It felt great.
It felt great.
It felt great, and I still got my business. I'm an LPN now. You're a nurse. But you get in there, and then people want to act like, you just an LPN. That's not really a nurse. Because I said I didn't want to be no RN. Remind you, if you ask any of my friends, I just want to be an LPN. I don't want to be no RN.
Yeah.
For what? So now y'all playing with me, right?
Now you playing with me.
Okay. You playing with me. Cool. Because I can't give certain medicines or start IVs.
Yeah. Because LPN can do a lot, though.
We can. And when I tell you, so many people want to be LPN after me because they saw. I let them know you don't have to stay in a nursing home. Nothing wrong with being in a nursing home if that's where you want to work at. But I was working in the hospital. I worked in doctor's offices. I did behavioral health. I did a lot as an LPN.
Yep.
But you were limited. And if you know anything about me, I don't like boxes. I don't want to be in no box.
Right.
You know, you can't do this, you can't give that, you can't.
And you know you could do the job. So
do
it just because you're in there,
Yeah.
you're like, I could do this. I see them, they're doing it. But the state requires you to do these things. So
Yes.
let me just go back and get this piece of
Yeah.
paper so these people could be
Like,
quiet.
I went on back.
And you
Went
go
on
back.
back and did RN school. Look, I didn't work. My business allowed me not to work. I focused. And I did it. And a lot happened at that point. I became a single mother. At first I had a partner. I became single while I was in RN school. Life was life and I lost a lot of family. Stuff was happening. But I was like, if I stop, then I'll go back to where I was at. You go back from where you started. If you keep going, then
You can go
a
further.
little step further.
Right.
So going back was an option. Get done. Like I said, when I walked at graduation, I'm 5 months pregnant. People didn't know I was pregnant. I don't tell people stuff. Don't worry about it. I did it.
You did it.
And it was like, girl, like, I did that. My kids
I
watched
was
me
gonna
do
say, how
that.
did it feel?
It felt great. I didn't even know I could be a nurse. Nobody around me was a nurse growing up.
Because you, like you said, you had never even heard about college.
No.
At all.
Right.
I heard it at school. It
Yeah.
wasn't talked about in my home. It
yeah.
wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing. So it's like, man, like I've risen through these ranks and I never even had anything told me to do this.
Yeah,
to
and
go
that's one of the things that I talk about a lot when I talk to people about just their children. Exposure.
Yes.
Exposure
Yes.
is huge.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, you know, let them try this. Take them here. You know, expose them to all different
All
types of
kinds of
sports,
stuff.
music,
Everything.
all
I'm telling you,
cultures, everything.
a sixth grade trip literally planted the seed for me. When going to Chicago in sixth grade and seeing all those big old lights and those buildings, I was like, I gotta move here.
Yeah.
I came home saying that, you know, and I tried to go to college there, but because of a sixth grade classroom trip, that
Yeah.
was exposure.